welcome to Hannity. Great crowd we have tonight. Oh, man. We got a wild, rowdy crowd. All my rowdy friends, the only normal people in all of New York City are in this room tonight. Thank you for being with us. Thank you at home for being with us. And by the way, tonight, the Joe Biden bribery and money laundering allegation scandal, that is heating up in big and major ways. Soon, the media mob that has been protecting Joe, who doesn't know it's Thursday, they will have to even cover this story. Look, one FBI expert is now saying that evidence is sufficient for a real federal probe into bribery and money laundering into the Biden family. And that means the big guy himself, Joe Biden. And this was on justthenews.com, breaking about a half hour ago. Coming up tonight, Senator Ted Cruz, former acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker, and our very own Greg Jarrett will be here. They will break down the law. How much trouble are they really in? Let's jump right into what we are calling the evolution tonight of the Biden lie. Now, first, Biden and his staffers, you remember, they all swore. Joe said it as president. He said it as candidate, that never once, ever, did he ever speak or talk to Hunter or his brother Joe, or anybody for that matter, about his foreign business dealings. He never discussed these foreign deals with any of these people ever. Then the story changed. Then they said Joe Biden was never in business with Hunter or his brother or any of these foreign business partners. And that has evolved into an admission. Well, Joe Biden met with Hunter's business partners, some of them, or talked to others, 24 of them on the phone, but he didn't discuss business over, what, a dozen conversations, 24 conversations. And when Joe did get on the phone, when he did go to dinner with them at Cafe Milano, all they talked about was the weather. That's what they're telling you. Now, the latest Democratic Party and media mob spin is a concession. Okay, the big guy did have some kind of role in Hunter's business deals, but as one former White House deputy director proudly quoted, well, the Comer memo does not show direct payment to Joe Biden. They need to read the Foreign Corruption Act and the FARA laws, because, you see, he doesn't have to benefit. If he takes actions, as that 1023 form said, as vice president, that directly benefit and enrich his family, that's bribery, according to the law. Greg Jarrett will explain. See, the foreign money went to Hunter and other Biden family members first, and we all just need to move along. That's what they're telling us. Well, who among us has not had foreign adversaries send cash to our family members, even our grandchildren? None of that has happened to you? Oh, I can't believe it. Through shell corporations, often from America's top geopolitical foes, and for no apparent reason, while they are addicted to crack cocaine and hookers, and having no experience in the areas with they are working. Now, as you all know, Hunter was the admitted crack addict during most, if not all, of those transactions. At one point, his drug use was so bad, look at that he was practically toothless. That happens to crack addicts. Their teeth right out of their head. Anyway, so we're supposed to believe that, unlike most addicts, Hunter was a highly functioning crack addict, that he actually earned the tens of millions of dollars without any experience in energy, oil, gas, Ukraine, China, Russia, Ukraine, and none of this. Now, remember, Hunter is also reportedly very stupid. Well, I didn't say it. If you look at the 1023 form, it cites the head of Burisma, that's the oil and gas giant in Ukraine, calling Hunter dumb and stupid. And the guy even went as far as to say that he thought his dog was smarter than Hunter. Now, to be very blunt, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. So why were so many rich and successful foreigners paying Hunter and his friends and family all of these tens of millions of dollars? Just to be nice? I don't know. In order to better answer the question tonight, let's meet some of Hunter's most generous partners. According to last night's bank memo from the House Oversight Committee, quote, In February 2014, a Russian oligarch sent $3.5 million to a shell company associated with Hunter Biden and Devon Archer. The Russian oligarch, her name is Elena Baturina. She's pictured here with a warm embrace with Vladimir Putin. She was married to the late mayor of Moscow, and that mayor had deep ties to Vladimir Putin. A few months after sending the $3.5 million to Hunter, well, she then enjoyed a lovely dinner at Cafe Milano with Hunter and then Vice President Joe Biden. Then Devon Archer said she invested a whopping $120 million in the company's real estate division. Let's go on to the next country. Up next, we have a prominent member of the Chinese Communist Party. That is our one geopolitical foe. Yi Ji-ming is the name. Quote, the committee has identified over $8 million that benefited the Biden family and associates from this and related Chinese sources. Now, Yi Ji-ming, by the way, was arrested in 2018 by Chinese authorities. Get this, can you believe it? What luck, for bribery. And coming up next, let's go to Kazakhstan, shall we? There's Kazakh business partners. On the left is Kenes Rakishev. And on the right, former Prime Minister Karim Massimov. Now, in the middle, you can see Joe and Hunter. They're grinning ear to ear. Why wouldn't they be? There was also reportedly a lunch, a dinner at Cafe Milano. 2 months later, these, well, businessmen reportedly wired Hunter money to buy a beautiful sports car. The exact amount of money for Hunter Biden's brand new, beautiful, expensive Porsche. Now, one of the individuals, that's Massimov, was recently sentenced to 18 years in prison for treason and abuse of power. Shocking. Now let's take a look at Hunter's Romanian partner, quote, Gabriel Popovica. And by the way, the committee has identified $3 million that benefited the Biden family and associates from the Romanian source. This individual has been convicted of bribery and abuse of power in Romania. Is anybody seeing a trend here? Which brings us to Ukraine and Burisma, which was facing a corruption investigation until the big guy stepped in, and he's the one that leveraged $1 billion of your tax dollars to get that guy fired, that prosecutor fired, who was investigating Hunter and Burisma, and he did it within 6 hours. Son of a bee, they did it. And guess who continued to get paid and continued to have enrichment? That would be Hunter, based on the actions of his vice president daddy. And breaking tonight, a photograph has now emerged showing then Vice President Biden on Air Force Two on the way to Ukraine with a Hunter Biden-linked associate in 2015. This was right before Joe got that prosecutor fired. At the very same time, Hunter was making millions of dollars from Burisma, and again, he was a crack addict at the time. Vadim Pozharsky was the chief financial officer of Burisma and allegedly told an FBI informant that he put Hunter on the board to protect us through his dad. Now, you look at him, Mykola Zolochevsky was the head of Burisma. He allegedly told the same FBI informant about his dog being smarter than Hunter. That's the guy right there. He was forced to pay a $5 million bribe to Hunter, another $5 million bribe to Joe. He said he didn't want to do it. He said he did it for protection. And he also said and added it would take 10 years for people to be able to trace how that payment was made. And oddly enough, according to the Federalist, a notable $8.7 million gap does exist between Joe and Jill Biden's $9.5 million net income in the year 2017 and the $809,709 of disclosed income in that year from the book tour and related speaking events. Guess what? We still don't know where that $8.7 million came from. The Bidens filed their income tax through an S-corp. They refused to release that form publicly. I thought they were going to be transparent. But according to Biden's water boy over at the liberal Washington Post, Philip Bump, what a name, Bump. He's got a bump in his head. Anyway, there's just nothing to see here and nothing to the investigation, nothing to report on. Meanwhile, the fake Washington Post fact checker, Glenn Kessler, needs to be fact-checked, and he keeps quietly updating his bogus reporting about the Biden family business without ever issuing a correction. The fact-checker needs to be fact-checked. And the last night, by the way, all three networks completely ignored the House Oversight Committee and James Comer's latest report. But on fake news CNN, fake Jake Tapper, he was able to muster a little feigned outrage in this question to Elizabeth Warren. Take a look.
People close to Joe Biden or people close to Donald Trump, but I'm talking about Joe Biden, making tens of millions of dollars because of their closeness to him. That can't be something that you like. That can't be something that you're comfortable with as a phenomenon.
Look, I always worry about the influence peddlers in Washington, regardless of party affiliation. One of the things, as you know, I've spent a lot of my time in Congress working on is how we bring just more ethics and more oversight in general.
I see a lot of passion there. I have real commitment to get to the bottom of this. She just loves oversight and accountability, but is making no effort to investigate Biden and his family and the syndicate that it now is. So where do we go from here? How do we hold Biden accountable? Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.